Well, I knew that question was inevitable. Of course, I'm strongly in favor of better legislation to protect our young people, particularly. Now, on the subject of how do I stand on the wet and dry, it's a well-known fact, of course, by all of my friends that I am a dry. I've always been a dry. I vote dry and I drink dry.
Right at the moment, I'm engaged in an attempt to get all 77 county attorneys of Oklahoma to back several specific proposals before the legislature for closing the legal loopholes in prohibition as it now stands. In the past, I have favored repeal, but this is an alternative or a route that has not been pursued. That is enforcement, because as our law now exists, conscientious officers can't enforce prohibition because of legal loopholes in the search and seizure laws.
The majority of the people have indicated in the past that they desire to continue prohibition in effect. At the same time, there are some shifting population changes, and apparently there's widespread disgust. People are disturbed about the obvious evidences of the kind of corruption that the difficulties in enforcing the prohibition law have brought to Oklahoma. I believe that if the time comes when the pressures for some change grow to a point where it becomes the will of the majority that we have repealed, then they will repeal it. Now, as far as taking the personal lead either for or against prohibition, I doubt that that's my prerogative, and I don't intend to do so at this time.
I think that the prohibition law can be enforced. I don't think there's any loopholes in it, as some seem to say.
To the audience. I wanted you to see whether Dave Beck is in the audience. I'd like to pay my respects to that gentleman, but since he's not here, I'll say nothing.
I think we have here the personalities that I believe in the material that will build and will serve. I'm certainly not going to be one of the critics on the outside. But when I came on the city council as a young man, I had the privilege of not only having labor support, as before the days of CIO, the endorsement of labor, but also the endorsement of business. It wasn't my idea to become a candidate. I wish time would permit me to say more. I shouldn't speak further, only to say thanks and God bless you all. It has been my pleasure.
Well, Dick, that's perhaps my fault. I asked them because I was going to present to them the applications that we have for city manager. Some time ago, the old council asked that we take up the proposition of getting an application for city manager. And I had about 16 of them there. And in a great many instances, those men who made the application asked that their name be kept secret due to the fact that they were elected in Oklahoma City. They want to keep their own job at home, and they didn't want any unrest about them leaving home, you know, until they were elected. And I thought it would be better to keep that confidential at their request, and that's why we asked to do it.
Bill, are you filing the grocery cases today?
We are. We're filing against 3 stores locally. for unlawful misrepresentation of weight and price of packaged commodities. The other stores that were mentioned, we have made an investigation and we don't find the violations to be sufficiently flagrant to warrant prosecutions. In other words, I don't think we could get convictions in them.
Well, we had just hired a new girl, a new meat wrapper. She is formerly a checker. We were trying to make a partial meat wrapper out of her. And we brought her in here Monday, training her how to wrap meat and how to price the meat. And being new at it, she made a mistake on the scale that we have here and got the packages all off.
My meat was cut Saturday to last me for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then I get my meat on Wednesday for the weekends. And surely from Saturday to Tuesday, when he was checking, they shrank quite a bit.
Well, we have, I have a butcher manager who is in charge of my market, which has 100% charge of the market. But the main thing that I want to stress is I will not and never will cheat my people. If I have to sell them meat at half price, I'm going to see that they get their money back.
Did this butcher manager change the prices?
Well, through the investigation that they had on it, he acknowledged to them that he had did it without knowledge of me.
Why would he do that?
Well, I don't know. He had no reason to.
Chief, how old are you now?
His next birthday is going to be 94 years old.
He'll be 94 his next birthday.
Next birthday.
Chief, how old were you at the time of the Custer massacre?
9 years old.
He was 9 years old then. Chief, have you ever forgiven the white man for such a terrible thing?
No, it's when it done it, that's the ships of the war. I know. What's the combination when it done it, done it?
أنا ما ست سكايا مستعد.
لا
لا تستوى تتسع.
نيش نانا مني نه.
أنا.
نيش نانا مني هتتها. Yes, he said he's already forgotten about those things.
And the movies ain't true to life.
No, that's right.
You see, that's the truth. You see a cowpuncher fire 10 or 12 shots, without stopping to reload his gun, and nobody killed.
That's right. That's true.
If I fire the third shot at the man and he don't go down, I'm going to throw my gun at him and run after that.
Well, the State Bureau of Investigation is an organization that was created in 1925 for the purpose of assisting local officers in combating bank robberies. Our organization is an investigative organization. We enforce no laws. We go into counties where they need assistance and in major crimes and in the enforcement of any laws by request. Crimes of violence, such as the incident at Miami the other night, we immediately dispatch cars into the vicinity to help local officers. We do not wait for them to ask for assistance concerning crimes of violent nature.
How many agents do you have, OK?
I have 15 field agents. We have the Criminal Laboratory Division, which is part of this organization. It's the Criminal Identification Division, and our Chemistry and Toxicology Department, our Lie Detector Division, and the Photograph, Photostat, and Ballistics Department, and also our Question Document Section, which handles and analyzes all forged instruments that's received by this department.
Do Crime Bureau agents only investigate, or do they have full power of arrest?
We have the full powers of a police officer that is provided by law.